Okay, so we're going to learn how to convert numbers into scientific notation and then convert from scientific notation back into standard form. Okay, we're going to start with scientific notation. So I'm just going to follow the steps that we have here. I might go slightly off course, but if you follow the directions just step by step, it's kind of hard to make a mistake. I'll try to follow them step by step as best as I can. Okay, so the best way to learn this again is to try some practice problems. So let's try the first one here, starting with 238,000. Okay, so according to the instructions, we are going to locate the decimal point. Okay, we don't see a decimal point, so we're going to start with big numbers like A and B here. You usually don't see a decimal point, so you just start with a decimal point all the way to the right, because all your places here are after the ones place. So you start with the decimal point all the way to the right. Okay, step 2, it says move the decimal point to the right of the non-zero digit in the largest place. So the largest place is the 2. That's the 100,000ths place. So you're going to put the decimal to the right of the 2. In order to do that, you have to move the decimal 5 places to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that'll give us a number that's between 1 and 10. It'll give us 2.38. Okay, the next step is to multiply the new number by 10 to the n. Okay, times 10. I'll just put an n there for now. Okay, now we have to figure out what n is. Okay, it says where n is the number of places you move the decimal point. So I moved the decimal point 5 places, so n is a 5. Now is it positive or negative? Well, we moved it 5 places to the left, and according to our directions, that means that n is going to be positive, so that should be a positive 5. So that's it. We're done converting that one. Let's try B. So this time we start with 1,500,000. Okay, same as before. Locate the decimal point. You don't see one, so you're going to start to the right of the ones place. And next, move the decimal to the right of the number with the largest place value, which is 1 million. So you're going to move it to the right of the 1. In order to do that, that decimal needs to move 6 places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to leave you with a 1.5. That's your number between 1 and 10. Now to figure out the power of 10. So you're going to multiply it by 10, and your power is n for now. Okay, we moved that decimal 6 places to the left. So because we moved it 6 places, that n is a 6. And because we moved it to the left, that n is positive, so it's a positive 6. So that's it. We're done. 1.5 times 10 to the 6th power. So those two, A and B, were big numbers that we converted to scientific notation. Large numbers usually will have a positive exponent. Next, we're going to try small numbers. So what you're going to see with these small numbers, a few differences. Okay, so C, we have 0.00043. It's a very small number. It's actually 43 tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 43 hundred thousandths. So a very small number. So let's change that to scientific notation. Okay, we're going to do the same thing we did before, except this time we can see the decimal. So we're still going to move it to the right of the number with the highest place, or that's in the highest place, largest place. So that would be the 4, to the right of the 4. In order to get that decimal to the right of the 4, we have to move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the right. And that'll give us a 4.3. So that number's between 1 and 10 like it should be. And now we have to figure out our power of 10. So what is n? Well, this time when we look and we see how many times we moved the decimal or how many places, we moved it 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be a 4. And if we look in our instructions, we moved it to the right, so that's going to be negative. So that will be a negative 4. Negative 4. Okay, and that's converting to scientific notation when you have a small number. Let's try the next example. So this time, start with 0.089. Follow the same procedure. So you want to move it to the right of the number with the highest place value, or it's in the highest place. So that'll be the 8. So you're going to move it to the right of the 8. Okay, so that'll give 8.9. And that's a number between 1 and 10. Okay, so now let's figure out our power of 10. Alright, so how many places did we move the decimal? We moved it 2 places, and we moved it to the right. So our exponent is going to be negative 2. Because we moved it 2 places, and we moved it to the right. So negative 2. Okay, so that's how you convert to scientific notation. Next, we're going to convert backwards. We're going to start with scientific notation. And we're going to convert back to standard form, or change the number back to an ordinary number. All right, I think this is easier, but the steps seem to be a little almost backwards. Okay, especially moving the decimal, you're moving them in the opposite direction. So that might be the only place where you may get confused if you're converting to scientific notation or converting back to standard form. People forget in what direction to move the decimal. All right, so let's see. 2 examples here, converting back to standard form. So we start with our number in scientific notation. Okay, we're going to start with just our number between 1 and 10, which is 2.5. Okay, it says, according to the instructions, it says determine the sign of n from our power of 10. Our sign of n here is 4 in the first example. Okay, if n is positive, so 4 is positive, the decimal point will move to the right. So this decimal point in 2.5 is going to move to the right. And it's going to move to the right the same number of places as the exponent. So you have an exponent of 4, you're going to move 4 places to the right. Okay, 1 place is taken by the 5, so add 3 zeros. And that gives us 25,000. Okay, and that's it. So basically, you're taking that number and you're multiplying by 10 to the 4th power, or by 10,000, and that gives you 25,000. All right, so example B. Okay, we'll start with, let me erase this. We will start with the number that's between 1 and 10, which is 6.05. All right. Let's look at our n from our exponent. It's negative 5. Okay, so that means our number is going to move 5 places. And because it's negative, if you look at the instructions here, it's going to move to the left 5 places. So starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of those 5 places, 1 of them is taken by the 6, so we only have to add 4 more. And this is our number in standard form, 0.0000605. And you can put the 0 in front just so it looks right. Okay, so now we've changed that to standard form. That's a very small number, and it's easy to lose zeros when you're trying to write this down. One of the reasons we use scientific notation, because it's a lot of times easier to write it in scientific notation, as long as you know how to interpret it. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful in helping you to convert between scientific notation and standard form. Okay, see you next time.